At Academy in Meadowland. So we are the fire station that would serve the Doherty area and your high school. We're here today to talk a little bit about distracted driving, give you some facts, and show you the consequences of what happens if you do make the bad choice of checking your phone, messing with the radio, anything that takes your eyes off the road today. So our scenario, we've got 4 Doherty students enjoying a nice afternoon fall day here in Colorado Springs. Maybe they decided they were going to run to Dutch Brothers or something for lunch real quick. And our driver got a text message, so she decided to take a look at her phone, take her eyes off the road, and now we're stuck in this situation you see here. We've got 4 people in the car. They're all injured, and somebody has decided to call 911. I don't know if this is...
I have to improvise, so hopefully you can all hear me. So, when somebody calls 911, whether they're in the car or a bystander who just happens to see the address or the accident, they call 911 and we get the call, so this is what it would sound like. Bravo 26, engine 10, truck 10, respond to 4515 Barnes Road, Doherty High School, for a reported traffic accident with trapped parties. Bravo 26, engine 10, truck 10, respond to Doherty High School, traffic accident, trapped. So while our victims are in the car, they don't quite know what happened to them because they got smashed.
Let's see if this works. It's going to get a little loud. So our victims, they've just got smashed in a car accident. They're not quite sure what's going on. They got their wits kind of knocked senseless. So our first apparatus that's going to arrive is engine 10. On engine 10, we have an officer, a firefighter, and a paramedic. Our paramedic is in the blue helmet. He's going to jump out real quick. And he's going to do a quick triage of all the people in the car. He's going to do a quick assessment of their injuries and find out who we can help the most. The second vehicle arriving is the truck. When we find out that there's people trapped in the car and can't get out, they're going to bring out the heavy tools. You've probably heard of the jaws of life. So they're going to do the best they can to remove the car away from the victims rather than moving the victims out of the car. Our paramedic is assessing the injuries of all the victims in the car, doing a quick assessment to see who's injured the worst, who we can do the best to help. So in the past, the last 5 to 10 years, distracted driving is starting to take the place of drinking and driving as the leading cause of traffic accidents. The message of drinking and driving has really got out there well. People understand the consequences. Distracted driving is relatively new. As more and more cell phones and other distractions take over in vehicles, people aren't paying attention to what they're doing. They're not paying attention to driving, other cars on the road, traffic signs, speed limits, everything like that. So we're seeing an increase in traffic accidents being caused by distracted driving. So you might ask, what is distracted driving? It's not just cell phone use or checking a text message. It's really any activity that takes your focus away from the primary task of driving. So some of the things obviously are texting, using your cell phone, could be putting on makeup, could be talking to passengers in the car, adjusting your radio. You know, you take your eyes off the road for just a couple seconds to change the radio station. That, in the true sense of the word, is distracted driving. So the three most common factors that lead to traffic accidents related to distracted driving are a lack of scanning ahead, so you're not paying attention to the traffic and everything around you. Driving too fast, you lose track of how fast you're driving when you're not paying attention. And then distracted by something in or out of the vehicle. So passengers, phones, you might see something alongside the road that takes your eyes off the road in front of you. So you'll see our firefighter stepping in right here. He's using the jaws of life. So what we're going to do is completely take the door away from the vehicle to make as big an opening in the car as we can to safely remove that passenger in the back seat. So some quick facts for you. In 2016, in the United States, there was 3,450 people killed in traffic accidents related to distracted driving. Of that number, 10% of those, so roughly 350 of those, were teen drivers. Teen drivers aged 16 to 19 represent the biggest proportion of people involved in distracted driving related traffic accidents in which a fatality occurred. So according to the U.S. Department of Transportation, you're 23 times more likely to be involved in a traffic accident if you text while you're driving. So think about this. According to the Department of Transportation, when you look at your phone to either send a text or receive a text, it takes your eyes off the road for an average of 4.6 seconds. Now you might not think 4.5 seconds is that long of a time, but if you were driving 55 miles an hour, that 4.6 seconds equals the length of a football field that you're basically driving blind because you're not paying attention to the road. So as I mentioned, our paramedic did a quick triage, and he's determined that the passenger in the back seat on the passenger side is our most critical victim. So that's the one that we need to get out of the car first and off to the hospital as quick as possible, so that she has the best chance that we can give her of surviving this traffic accident. Imagine the forces that get placed on your body when two cars or a car impacts something going even 20 miles an hour. So even though our victim in the back seat there might not be complaining of anything, we treat them as they're all serious critical injuries because of the mechanism of their injuries. So she's going to come out on a backboard. We're going to fully immobilize her so that she can't move to protect her neck and her spine. And we're going to get her in the ambulance and off to the hospital as quick as possible. So you might have noticed that our passenger in the front passenger seat hasn't moved at all since we've been taking the car apart. That's because that passenger didn't make it. They didn't survive this crash. So there's nothing that we can do for them. They've passed away. Our focus now goes to the other three kids in the car to try to give them the best chance of surviving this traffic accident. So you're all teenage drivers, relatively new to driving. The statistics show that motor vehicle accidents are the leading cause of death for U.S. teenagers. 16-year-old drivers are 3 times more likely to die in a car crash than any other reason out there. We have a teenage driver with 2 other teenage passengers in the car. The chance of being involved in a fatal traffic accident or luckily our driver is relatively uninjured. She's able to walk away from this traffic accident. But since she decided to check her phone, send a quick text message while she was driving, and we had a fatality in this traffic accident, she's more than likely going to be charged with vehicular manslaughter. So in Colorado, if you're found guilty of vehicular manslaughter, that means that you could spend up to 15 years in jail. All for checking your phone. So while all of you out there are graduating from Doherty, going off to college, getting good jobs, starting a career, some of you may be starting a family in the next 15 years. Our unlucky driver, Cheyenne, she's going to be sitting in jail for up to 15 years. So I want you all to think about that to yourself. Just checking your phone for that quick little text message while you're driving worth killing one of your best friends and spending up to 15 years in jail? And I hope you would all answer no. So that concludes our demonstration today. Thank you for coming out this afternoon. Hopefully we made it on you and the decisions you make behind the wheel. Thank you very much.